Today I will discuss about the action of human eye in reference to formation of images. Human eye. How the human eye works. How the images are formed. How we see the objects. What happens within the eye. Let us have a figure of human eye. Consider this is extra mild portion which we see the eye. This from here, this portion is hidden. This is the back portion of our eye. We see these things. Now here situated your lens. This is your convex lens. And your convex lens is attached to a structure, this. Now let us name the parts of the eye. We will not take much time. This is your lens. This is your lens. This is called ciliary muscles. These muscles are called ciliary muscles. So, these are called ciliary. L-I-A-R-Y, ciliary muscles. C-L-E-S, muscles. This structure is called iris. This bulging portion is called cornea. I am writing these things because this will come many times. These words will come many times during discussion. And this iris, this is a round part. We are seeing from this portion. This is the lens. You can see this is the lens. It is thick at the here. Now these are the iris. Yeah, these are the iris here. Round shape. This is total round shape, a disc shape. And before this may ये उसकी थोड़ी सी सब चौड़ाई दे दीजिए. This is iris. What happens? This opening, this may make its breath. Extra breath is provided when it contracts and makes the opening. It becomes this much, or it becomes this much. मतलब it can elongate on this side, both sides. This may come here, it elongates, so the opening become less. Or this can contract backward, ये become छोटा हो जाएगा, छोटा हो सकता है. तो इधर से जो लाइट जाएगी, that opening become extra space will be available for entering the light. So these are iris, these are cornea. Now this opening is called pupil. This जो आपको दिखाई पड़ता है आंख में, एकदम ब्लैक, पुतली जिसको कहते हैं, पुपिल. तो ब्लैक इसलिए दिखाई पड़ता है. It seems black because the light goes inside and it is not reflected back. So it seems as black. This is you can say it a hole, an opening in which the light enters but does not comes back. So this is just a rough sketch. This is your lens. So what is the property now? The important thing. This is your screen. ये portion जो है, यानी ये this is called your this is retina. This is screen जहाँ आपकी image बनेगी. SCREEN, screen. What happens? The light enters from this side and light is focused on the screen. There is some object, the light reflected from the object or illuminated object is there. So the light from the object goes into my eyes, inside the eye, and passes through this lens. This lens is a converging lens, convex lens, and this lens makes the image at retina. Now one thing, very important. This is a lens and this is a screen. So this distance is fixed because the construction of eye is fixed. So V is fixed here. V is equal to constant. ये constant है because once the eye you take a particular eye, so this distance from the lens to the object is constant. V is constant. Now you see the objects which are in front of your eye at different distances. Means V, U, the distance of object from the lens. This is varying many distances, but you can see the object when the image is formed at the retina. any v is always fixed for different value of u. How it is possible? Suppose this is the case. This is your eye lens. Simple thing. This is your f, this is your 2f point, this is f dash, and this is 2f dash point. Suppose you take an object here between f and 2f. Now take a parallel. A ray starts from this point of the object. You have read it, and after passing through the lens, it is refracted, and since it is parallel to principal axis, so this will pass from here. This focus and take another from the this point C, optical center. So this will cut here, somewhere here. This is A dash, B dash. Now suppose we fix our screen. We take it as granted as retina. This is our retina of the eye. इसको हमने फिक्स कर दिया. आप कभी ऑब्जेक्ट यहाँ है, कभी यहाँ है, कभी यहाँ है, कहीं भी होगी. Very far off object we see the moon, we see the sun, but we see the distant object beyond 2f. We see very near objects. But what happens? We see them clearly. Means the image is always formed on the retina. Means V is fixed and U is varying. How it happens? What was the relation? The relation of the lens was 1 by V minus 1 by U is equal to 1 by F. This relation of the lens, this formula should be satisfied. This cannot go wrong. So what happens? This is fixed. And you take different values of x. You put the object here or here or here or here. But the image is always at retina. मतलब at the distance v from यहाँ से यहाँ तक ये distance v. It is possible only in the case that when you vary u, accordingly f is varied. If v vary कर जाए तो then this formula will be satisfied and the image will be formed on the v always. So what happens? This lens, this is a property of the lens. As per requirement, as per the distance of object from my eye, from this lens, the focal length of this focal length of the eye lens varies. V-A-R-I-E-S. ये वैरी करता रहता है. हाउ इट इज पॉसिबल? फोकस लेंथ वैरी करने का मतलब थिन लेंस है तो ज़्यादा फोकल लेंथ, थिक लेंस है तो फोकल लेंथ कम हो गई. तो व्हाट हैपेंस? These are ciliary muscles, ciliary पेशियां. The lens is connected. So what happens when we need a lens of, when we need a small focal length, then this lens, these muscles push, these ciliary muscles acts in a way that this lens is compressed. तो this suppose this is a, मैं बड़ा बना रहा हूँ, this is the lens in normal case, no action, the ciliary muscles are relaxed. Now we see the object which is very near to our eye. So what happens? We need the focal length should be less. So what happens? This lens is compressed, and this achieves the form this. It becomes thick. The lens becomes thick. How it becomes thick? This is made up of a material, protein, a jelly-like material. So the lens is in the form of this. ये तो हम यहाँ फिगर बना रहे हैं इस शेप में खड़ा खड़ा वर्टिकल. It is thin at the ends and thick at the. So what happens? This is compressed, and the lens comes in this form. This focal length becomes f dash. Here it is f. Now the relation will be f dash is less than f. In this way, the value, this lens, the shape of the lens gets on changing and changing according to the value of u. As the value of u decreases, the lens becomes thick. It reduces its focal length, and when we see the things with our relaxed eye, the lens is in the normal position. In this position, you feel that when you see the very distant objects, your eye is very relaxed. So the lens is in this natural form, is relaxed form, not natural form, you can say relaxed form. And when we see the very fine things, you feel some stress in seeing. You read very small letters, then you have to see carefully. Means you are putting some stress. Where you are putting the stress? You are putting the stress here at the ciliary muscles. These ciliary muscles act in such a way that this jelly-like material, this lens made of jelly-like material attains this shape, becomes thick. This is the action in the eye, that we see all the things clearly. And all the images of all the objects which are at different distances from our eye are always formed here at a fixed distance at the retina. So we see the clearly. Now we will discuss some more things. Here the term comes. What this function is called in the physics? This is called accommodation power. Accommodate. कहते हैं accommodate. Accommodation power of lens. Yeah, of eye lens. Of eye lens. What is the accommodation power of eye lens? The quality of eye, the quality of the eye lens to change its focus, to change its shape as per its requirement is called the accommodation power of eye lens. Adjust कर लेता है, adjust its focal length. It's become thick, so focal length becomes less. Small, it becomes thin, so focal length as per requirement becomes larger. This thing, okay. Clear? Acha, what happens now? Next thing. Next thing we will discuss that when we see what is the function of iris. Iris क्या करता है? This is so this becomes clear. This is the opening. This is the opening. This is the iris. Iris is the opaque construction. These are the muscles, opaque muscles. These are not transparent. So ये इसकी opening. Let this be the iris muscle. We draw the this plan or this both the things. This is this structure. This is a round ring, thick ring. Yeah. This is the iris. This thick ring यहाँ से यहाँ तक है. ये पूरी रिंग आइरिस और ये जो बीच में है ओपन ब्लैक जिसको पुतली कहते हैं पुपिल. तो दिस इज अवर पुपिल. When we see in the bright light, so what happens? We need the less amount of light to enter in our eyes. So what happens? The thickness of iris, this increases. This comes here, and our opening shortens. ये पुपिल हमारी ये opening जो है कम हो जाती है. And when we go, you would have seen the eyes of owl. पीला पीला येलो येलो कभी ज़्यादा दिखता है, पूरा आई येलो हो जाती है, थोड़ा सा पुपिल दिखता है ब्लैक बीच में, कभी ढेर सारा वो ब्लैक स्पॉट बढ़ जाता है और पीला येलो पोर्शन बिकम्स वेरी थिन, येलो रिंग बिकम्स थिन. So that is Irish yellow ring. Sometimes when we see in the dim light, so what happens? ये आयरिस जो है अपने को छोटी कर लेती है, तो इतनी ओपनिंग हो जाती है, यहाँ पहुँच जाती है ये this wide opening. So in dim light, when we see in dim light, we need more amount of, great amount of, some large amount of light to enter my. So this black thing, this pupil, seems enlarged. Now this bulged portion that we see, that is in the front portion, this one, यहाँ से यहाँ तक, it is extra convex. This round जो है, this circle का part नहीं है, ये थोड़ा सा और उभरा bulges, some extra bulging. This is cornea. What happens? This also acts as a permanent lens. First up, when the eyes light falls on this, on the cornea, some diffraction takes place here also. It bends here. Some bends rays. And these bends rays reach the eye lens, and further the eye lens acts and the image is formed. The rays reach exact at retina, and the image is formed at the retina. So this cornea acts as the primary lens. This has been the function of human eye. Now some terms related with human eye. you are studying the physics, but you must know something more related to biology. Between the lens and cornea, a liquid is filled up called aqueous humor. A-Q-U, aqua. A-Q-U-E-O-U-S, aqueous humor. H-U-M-O-E-R. This is between कॉर्निया, जो फ्रंट पोर्शन हमको दिखता है, बड़ा सा व्हाइट जो फ्रंट ऑफ द आई और लेंस के बीच में, बिटवीन कॉर्निया एंड लेंस, आई लेंस। और जो ये थोड़ा पतला होता है लिक्विड, और जो लेंस और रेटिना के बीच में है, दैट इज कॉल्ड विट्रस ह्यूमर। VITREOUS HUMOUR। ये थोड़ा गाढ़ा होता है लिक्विड। लिक्विड क्या होता है? जस्ट लाइक जेली फॉर्म में होता है। दिस इज अ प्रोटीन बिटवीन आई लेंस एंड रेटिना। ये मटेरियल होता है। लेंस इज मेड अप ऑफ आल्सो ए थिक जेली, प्रोटीन जेली। What happens about the retina? Retina is lined with the muscles. Two types. They are named two types muscles according to their structure. Rods and cones. Rods are sensitive. रेटिना एक पर्दा है, ये गोला गोला आई के पीछे पिछले भाग पे। तो इसमें जो इसकी मसल्स होती हैं, सम कोन्स होती हैं और सम रॉड्स। ये तो हम बना रहे हैं इसमें कि आपको याद रहे, कि मैं इट विल बी इजी टू रिमेम्बर फॉर यू। Cones are sensitive. Rods are sensitive. Rods. These are sensitive to dim light. And cones, two types की muscles हैं. Cones are sensitive to. They are sensitive to colors. We see the colors. This world is colorful, and you know that out of my 5 sense organs of the human body, the eyes contribute 80%, more than 80%, and 20% में बाकी 4 इंद्रियां हैं। इसीलिए जिसकी आंख नहीं होती है, सूरदास पे हमको बड़ी दया आती है। इतनी दया एक डेड बॉडी पे नहीं आती है जितना अंधे आदमी को देख के एक दया उपजती है, क्योंकि हमारे इंद्रियों का 80% पार्ट जो है साइट सीइंग में है, आँख में है, आँख के लिए है। तो मोटा मोटा दिस हैज बीन द फंक्शन ऑफ द आई। रॉड्स एंड कोन हो गया। नाउ Now, what is the limit of the accommodation power? You see, this is the front portion, this is the cornea. First lens, front portion of our eye, and this is the eye lens. What happens accommodation power? देखिए अगर near object, this is the principal axis. Say, what happens when we see nearby objects? Say some objects is here. What happens? The nearby object से जो rays निकलती है से reflect होंगी, they will be in this direction. This direction. Suppose two rays, we take only two rays. So these are first strike with this cornea and are bent. Instead of going in this direction, this takes some turn. Suppose this turn, and again these are bent by this. The ray is bent by when they cross this eye lens, they come here. Suppose here this is a retina. The image is formed here. This is a image. This is object. This is image. This is image is formed here. What you see? You see that when the object is very near, the lens, this lens gets the diverging rays. So it has to bend because this distance is fixed. Your eye structure is fixed. So this is B is fixed. So in all the cases, the image must form here. So what our eye does, what the lens takes the form, it becomes thick, it reduces its focal length so that it can bend the rays. So in this case, when the object is near and you keep the object near and near to eyes, so how much near it comes? So there is the power, the minimum, how much F can take the minimum value. बट कितना मोटा लेंस हो जाए, कितना इसका फोकल लेंथ कम हो जाए, कितनी इसकी पावर डायोप्टर बढ़ जाए, T is equal to 1 by n. अब F की वैल्यू कम या लेंस मोटा हो गया तो वैल्यू डायोप्टर की पावर डायोप्टर T is equal to 1 by F diopter, power of the lens. तो इसकी एक कैपेसिटी है. तो कुदरत ने ऐसा पाया गया, when examined it was found that the value of U is equal to 25 centimeter, and corresponding to this value your V is fixed, structure of eye is fixed. How much lens can contract, how much the focal length can be reduced so that image may fall here at retina. तो उतना reduce कर सकता है when the value of U is equal to 25 centimeter. And this is fixed as per construction, B is fixed. And this has been seen. अगर इससे नजदीक जाता है, if U becomes this, लेंस से इसकी दूरी u. If the value of u becomes less than 25 centimeter, then you cannot see the object because lens will be unable to reduce its focal length further. Because this is the limit of accommodation. Limit of accommodation. What happens? Limit है. Suppose this is the limiting value. Suppose this is u equal to 25 centimeter. This is the case. Now you take here object. You put object here. You reduce the value of. Now let we put an object as u is equal to 20 centimeter. What happens? This is u, यहाँ पर रख दिया. अब ये 20 centimeter है. तो what happens? The rays, the image will be formed. It will not be able to converge in such a way that image is formed here. The rays will go and the image will be formed somewhere here after the retina. So the image will not be sharp. Here is the point image. Here retina for this object. This will be here very blurred at the retina. So image will not be sharp because the rays the rays refracted rays coming and cutting here. So the sharp image is here. But what about here? This will be the image. This is a blurred image. So if you reduce the value of u beyond 25 centimeter, the lens cannot further reduce its focal length. So this is called the limit of accommodation. Now this point is named. This 25 centimeter u is equal to 25 centimeter. This is named as distance. यह near point इसको कहते हैं. This is called near point. And near point मतलब we can see clearly when the object is near the lens at 25 centimeter. Another is far point. U is equal to infinity या very far off. जैसे हम सूरज और चांद को देखते हैं. This is called far point. Far point. So these two points are defined. Our eyes, human eyes, can see the objects clearly, which are put in front of eye at a distance of between 2 points, from 25 centimeter to infinity. ये लेंस है, आई लेंस. ये 25 सेंटीमीटर की डिस्टेंस है. यहाँ इस पॉइंट के अंदर अगर आप इस तरफ रखेंगे, if you choose the here, you will not get sharp image. From here onward this side, चाहे जहाँ रखें, at infinity. So this is your range, 25 centimeter to infinity in front of the eye lens. You can see. So this is your range of U, far point, near point. This is also called distance of distinct vision. Distance of distinct, distinct vision. मतलब क्लियर रहे, रिजोल्यूटेड रहे, अलग अलग पार्ट क्लियर दिखाई पड़े, तो डिस्टिंक्ट विजन मतलब शार्प इमेज देख लेगी आपकी आई। अच्छा, होता क्या है, ये तो हुआ कैमरे का काम, और हम देखते कैसे हैं। एक चीज और, ये जो इमेज बनती है, दिस इज रियल एंड इन्वर्टेड, बट आवर माइंड, दिस जो पिक्चर बनती है रेटिना पे, दिस गोज, उसमें बना था ऑप्टिकल नर्व, जो आई बनाया था मैंने यहाँ, ये बोला ये रेटिना थी, और रेटिना के यहाँ पे इसको यहाँ पे, यहाँ से ये नर्व है, ऑप्टिकल नर्व। And this is optical nerve. So what happens? This light energy is converted into the electricity, and then electric signal goes into our mind through this optical nerve. The optical nerve से संदेश जाता है कि क्या चीज बनी है रेटिना पे। What image is formed in the retina? I am seeing a dog, I am seeing a car, I am seeing a scooter, or I am seeing a book. So this picture is transferred into this optical nerve से signal, electric signal में brain में जाती है। Brain analyze, though the image is formed inverted, but our brain analyzes and we feel, we see the things as it is in real, erect. Now everything I have told you. Okay, in the next chapter we will discuss some, not today, next day. We will solve some numerical problems so that these things will be more clear. We will discuss the eyesight, about the spectacles. Okay, thank you for today.